Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to go over a 2021 Jeep Gladiator High Altitude. First and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Dodge Ram Jeep Chrysler here in Provo for providing us with the Gladiator. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get straight into the video. Under the hood of the Gladiator, we have a naturally aspirated 3.6 liter V6 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, fuel economy is 17 around town and then 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 285 horsepower and then 260 pound-feet of torque. Let's finish things up on the front end of the Gladiator High Altitude. So you can see it's got like the traditional Gladiator hood. You've got the two little rubber stops there if you want to lower down the windshield. And then the biggest changes are here to the front of the Gladiator. So first off, we've got the full LED lights here with little LED turn signals. But notice with the bumper, everything is body painted to match the rest of the Jeep. So like if you look up closely here, you can see all body painted here, all across the whole grille. So all of it is painted to match with the body color of the Jeep. Coming around the side here, we've got two 75mm tires and 20-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear. And yes, you guessed it, this is another part of the package. So you can see the design on the wheels, definitely pretty unique and I really like it. And then the wheels are all blacked out to kind of go with the darker theme of the high altitude package. And then here's a quick look at the suspension and everything here in the front, or at least what we can kind of see out of it. And then also you got the blacked out Jeep badge as well. And then again, the mirrors are body painted and so are the door handles. So again, that kind of like theme of blacked out, but then also doing body painted on everything for kind of like a sportier look. Now let's go over the rear of the Gladiator. So you can see we've got a full spray and bed liner, and then we've got LED bed lights as well. And then you can see with the rest of the window, no cargo light though in the Gladiator. Pretty small size bed, but again, it's normal for this size of pickup truck. Now let's finish things up in the rear of the Gladiator. So you can see the full LED lights that are on, and then again, blacked out Jeep logo there in the center. And then you can see with the bumper, they kind of continue that theme. So the bumper's all body painted. You've got little parking sensors. Got the tow package, which the towing capacity is right around 7,000 pounds roughly. And then you got the tow hook right there on the side. But there is everything for the rear before we pop in. Now let's come to the interior of the Gladiator. You can see that we've got this soft touch, and then you can see with the stitching, it's kind of hard to tell here on the camera, but it's kind of more of like a tan coloration. And then you can see with the seats, this is definitely my favorite part. So you've actually got black stitching here at the top, but you can see they've done kind of like a quilted design here on the side with that stitching. Again, it's kind of like an orangish tan is the best way to look at it, or describe it. I mean, not look at it, but describe it. Sorry, I can't talk today. But you can see that continues on the bottom of the seat as well. Got a bunch of stuff in this area that we've got to obviously move over. So you've got rubber floor mats as well, but let's pop in per normal. So stepping in, step-in height's not too bad at all. If you guys are wondering, I'm 5'11", and there is actually insulation here at the top, which is pretty neat. There is my legroom, and then you've got this little thing that pulls out to be a couple cup holders and an armrest. You've got the window controls here in the center, a couple vents, and then here's what that insulation looks like here at the top of the Gladiator. Coming here to the front, you've got that stitching again with the soft touch, and you've got little net just down below. You've got your mirror controls, you've got your door lock and unlock, and then we've got the seats here at the front. So again, you can kind of see that same design what's in the back with the quilted look for the seats. Definitely looks a whole lot nicer than other Gladiators. Got your adjustments on the side of the seat. And then you can see you've got the pedals down below. You got the rubber floor mat right there. And then we can see right here, you've got the normal window control, fog lights, cargo light, and then the adjustment for the steering wheel. You got the controls right there on the back. And there's one more look before we pop in. Now here is the steering wheel in the Gladiator. You can see that you got the smooth leather all around, and then they've done that stitching that's on the seats right here on this center part. And this is probably the best point where you guys can actually see the color on it. And then you can see you've got the cruise control right there, and then you've got the voice commands control, so center stack, radio controls on the back of the steering wheel, and then you can see you've got that for the turn signal, windshield wiper on the other side. But there is your full view on the steering wheel. See, we've got our gauge cluster right here, and notice that that's pretty similar to the color of the stitching in the gauge cluster, so pretty interesting. But here in the center stack, you can see there's different bits of information, like the vehicle information, for example, and then the off-road. But I doubt this package will ever make it on the off-road, because this is kind of like your ultimate mommy mall crawler Gladiator. But yeah, that is everything for the little center stack. Now we can see the center infotainment system. So first off, we're going to pop it into reverse. You can see the backup camera will pop up, and you've got the little zoom in there for the receiver hitch. Pretty cool little system with that. And then in terms of the rest of the screen, you can see with the controls tab, you can go to the backup camera. No heated seats though, no heated steering wheel either. That would be on that controls tab page. You can see with the rest of the screen, response time on it is really solid. And then the other cool thing is the off-road pages. And while those are loading up, take a look at the dash. They've done stitching, so it's not necessarily like soft material, but they've at least like done stitching all across the dash. And then you can see the cool little Gladiator graphic right there. But the off-road pages basically shows that same thing that the little center gauge shows, just here on the center screen instead of in the gauge cluster. Now here is kind of like the radio / analog climate control area. So you've got the radio controls on that side. In the center, you've got the climate controls. And then you can see here, if you want to turn off the screen, your off-road cruise control, parking sensors, stability control, auto stop start. And then you've got all the window switches here. And then you got the little USB right there. And then you got a 12 volt on the other side. Here's the shifter for the 8-speed automatic. And yes, you can shift the gears yourself if you'd like. And then coming down here, we can see that you've got your 2-wheel high, your 4-wheel high, and then you've got the part-time 4-wheel high, which is pretty interesting because you usually don't see that in any of the Wranglers or Gladiators. And then you got your 4-wheel low as well. But again, that part-time, that's pretty interesting to see. And then the shifter continues that pattern of the stitching. And then you got your cup holders, which you can put your key in that little in-between area. Center console here, again, with that same stitching, and lifting up, you can see there's a good amount of storage space. Within, you've got another little area for a USB. And then coming over here, you can see the stitching continues. Again, it's not soft touch, but they at least put stitching throughout it so that it looks good, even though it doesn't necessarily feel good. Love the circular vents. And then coming here, got the regular old Jeep glove box with the grab handle. Now up top, you've got all the latches for the part of the Freedom top. And again, this one has the insulation. I always recommend to get this in Wranglers or Gladiators just for sound deadening. It definitely improves it a whole bunch. The rest you need power tools for, but that is everything for the top portion of the Jeep. And we've got a regular mirror, and there's my camera. Now that we're done going over the interior on this Gladiator, let's quickly get into the pricing. So in terms of pricing on this Gladiator, it's stickers for about $55,000 before any type of market adjustment. And that all being said, let's take this luxury Gladiator out and see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility here in this Gladiator High Altitude. So you can see visibility over the hood completely unchanged to any other Gladiator. And then there's your visibility through the mirrors. Remember, it does have blind spot monitoring. And here's all throughout the rear. So really solid, really easy to see out of in general. And that all being said, let's set off. Now we are initially setting off here in the Gladiator. And first off, let's kind of see how it maneuvers around this little roundabout. And it also kind of tells us a little bit about the suspension as well. So definitely doesn't move around all over the place as much as like a Rubicon would, for example. So it's definitely a little bit more planted from a suspension standpoint. And so far, it's riding really smooth actually for a Gladiator. And coming up with the brakes here, pretty solid on that as well. And you guys can see again, visibility just really good on the Gladiator here. But initially setting off onto the road, we'll kind of see how the ride quality is again here. Yeah, it's really smooth. So if you're looking for like a smoother Gladiator, this is definitely the route to go. Obviously, you don't get as much noise with the tires because it doesn't have crazy aggressive off-road tires or anything like that. But yeah, just the overall ride quality smooth, and it's really quiet with the insulation that it has on the ceiling. So like overall, as like a luxury package, we're doing really good. And you guys can see again, the braking there, super solid. I know like I probably scared a couple of you, but like I'm trying to get a little bit better with like showing you guys like stuff that's like really good with like the braking and accelerating, because some people complain that I don't go fast enough and that I don't like test things enough. So like there's your like real world test. Okay, but anyways, continuing on, steering is super light and relatively direct. Again, there's like not a whole lot of body roll or anything, so for just like as a Gladiator, it does such a good job. Like I am very, very impressed with this, and we're gonna be getting our acceleration here in just one moment. Hopefully there's not too much traffic where we can get in. And of course we have like all these trucks and everything over here blocking my visibility, which is horrible, but we're gonna get up and get our acceleration now. So you can see the 8-speed's very smooth with that 3.6 liter V6. Doesn't have the most amount of power. It's okay from an acceleration standpoint. The transmission definitely helps out a lot because it just goes from gear to gear to gear to gear. Really solid on that. So from an acceleration standpoint, it's right where it needs to be in this particular segment, but I definitely wouldn't put it as quick or anything like that. If you definitely want a quicker accelerating vehicle, then a full-size truck is going to do a much better job at that. And let's actually get into summing things up with this high altitude Gladiator. So if you're looking for, again, a luxury Gladiator, which I know that might sound weird to some people because you're like, this is an off-road truck, why is Jeep making it luxury? Well, I need to kind of get a news flash to you guys. Most people that buy Gladiators and Wranglers don't take them off-road ever. So it makes sense for Jeep to basically make this off-road vehicle into an on-road package where it's very comfortable, nice interior, nice ride quality, all that kind of stuff for the targeted demographic that typically buys this vehicle. No insult or anything like that, it's just reality. So yes, if you're going to be driving your Gladiator on-road, you're never going to take it off-road, don't buy a Rubicon. Buy something like this, you get the nicer interior, all that kind of stuff, nicer ride quality, but again, you aren't paying the Rubicon price, and you don't have to deal with all the funny stuff with the Rubicon, like the weird suspension and the tires and all that. This may not look as cool, but it still looks really good in my opinion. And there we have it, everyone, the 2021 Jeep Gladiator High Altitude. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Dodge Ram Jeep Chrysler here in Provo for providing us with the Jeep. Check out their inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in that next video.